Okay, this is the back pattern. Remember, it has a zipper allowance, so I'm going to use this back pattern to trace the front pattern. So I'll fold in the zipper allowance again because the front pattern does not have a zipper allowance. Then I'll trace it out. I'll cut it out directly. So you cut your own too out, just trace it out the same way. The same way, the same thing. The same way, the same thing, all through. Okay, so this is the back pattern on the front pattern, and then I'm going to also cut the middle, yes. Why are we cutting it? You will understand later. Don't cut it finish, so you can know the one that is meant for each one. I didn't cut it finish. The one under too, I didn't cut it finish. Now, before you go away, make sure you mark this point. The bust point, the under bust point, and the waistline. Make sure you mark it. Then, that is that about the back pattern. Thank you, we are done with you. So the back pattern, we are done with it. So I'm going to rule those points before I forget. The bust point, the under bust point, and my waistline. So the next thing I'm doing now, I'll go and do my neckline. You know, I said that the neckline will be lower than for the front pattern will be lower than the neckline for the back pattern. So the neckline for the front pattern is 3.5 by 4 inches. You know, the 3.5 is regular for both the back and the front pattern. So this one is just lower with 4 inches. So that's just the difference. So I'm going to make a shape there before I use my curve. So good. Then I can now use my curve. This is the front pattern, and the neckline is lower. You can see it. So I have the neckline there. Now the last thing I'm going to do now, so I'll remove this part of the front pattern. So you can use this to cut. So this is the neckline. This is the front pattern. So this place is okay now for cutting. Do you understand? Then I'm going to place the rest. I'm going to place the rest. This other part, I'm going to place it on a fresh paper. Let me place this one closer so you can be looking at the two. So I'm going to place it closer. Now the next thing I want to do now, remember that this is my bust point, this is my under bust point, and this is my waistline. So I'm going to measure 1 inch, just 1 inch at the front of my bust point. Let me not use a ruler. Let me use this 1 inch. At this point, you can tape down this paper. You can tape down this paper. Please, can I get it in? Bring tape, Joe. Thank you. Since we didn't bring it closer, so we have to. So at this point, I'm going to tape it because I don't want it to shift at all. I don't want it to shift at all. It's like I'm going to cut another of this part, and I don't want it to shift at all. So I've taped. So the next thing I'm going to do now, remember this is the bust point, this is the under bust point, and then this is the waistline. So this is a simple princess dart. So measure 1 inch in front of your bust point. 1 inch. Just 1 inch. Just 1 inch. Let me see if I can use a curve to do this. Make sure you pay attention closely. It's not as difficult. You can see the way I blend it with the one that is under. Even the tape is holding my ruler. That is all I need to do. Can you see it? I measure just 1 inch in front of my bust point. Then I blended here. Then I also blended here. It is the front pattern that has the bust. That's all. So I'm just going to cut it out. Come back here, cut it as well. Make sure you follow all the steps closely. If you need to watch again, go ahead and watch. So the two front patterns, they are here now. So you will use this one to cut your front pattern and this one. Then you use the back pattern, this. To cut the back pattern. You can see that I have both the front and the back patterns. I have them here now. So that's the end of the tutorial. So this is how to cut a simple princess dart blouse.